So what's a little bit auspicious about this occasion is that almost to the month, 15 years ago, the CCDI was established. So we are celebrating 15 years of, if I say so myself, a pretty amazing organization.
We should all give it a hand.
What is also interesting, what struck me as I was on my way here, is that this creative exchange is probably one of the oldest forums in Cape Town. It precedes Pecha Kucha and whatever, I don't want to name names. Probably even maybe the provincial cabinet is the only forum that has met more consistently.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. but in the first, it started off as the first Wednesday, and then we sort of joined in the first Thursday energy. But basically, every first every first month, every first week of every month, for more than 15 years, we've been pulling this forum together and gathering businesses and designers, and in fact the ecosystem, together into a forum to share information, to share lessons, and to learn new things. So I think that's something else that's worthy of applause. So I think what it talks about for me is that we're a tenacious organization in a resilient sector. And we've also seen the sector grow. So when we started 15 years ago, we had this is an often told story, a database of 63 small businesses or individuals, and we now have over 4,000 businesses registered with us that we support on an ongoing basis. So that's growth in the sector, because a lot of those businesses have started over the last 15 years. And we did research in 2012 as part of the process of writing the Western Cape Design Strategy. And what that the research showed is that the sector provides jobs and employment for upwards of 80,000 people and contributes 14 billion rand to the local economy. So it's not an insignificant sector in the local economy and the provincial economy. But more than just being about jobs and income generation, I think the value of the sector is in design and innovation, and the value that we bring to the social spaces and the cultural environment. So Minister, I remember you posted on Facebook a few months ago. How wonderful it was that Cape Town, the central city of Cape Town, had exceeded, I think it was the waterfront, in terms of the numbers of visitors. And how that was a testimony to the fact that we've built a sort of safe and secure environment for people to visit. And I want to add to that it's also about the culture and the creativity and the design in the city, that there's something that's bringing people to this space, and all the other local nodes of economic development, like Woodstock, like Hawke Bay, we can mention a number of them, that is about the cultural activity and the local economic activity that's happening in that space. So that's about design as a pretty face. But where we've also gone as an organization over the last couple of years is looking at design beyond just the aesthetic. And that was the value of the Western Cape Design Strategy that we wrote in 2012, that asked the question about how design could unlock innovation and competitiveness in the broader economy. And what that's broadened in a way and given us extra scope as an organization is to think about design as a cross-cutting and catalytic activity. And so in the last couple of years we've made huge progress actually in moving in that direction. And what we've tried to present to you today and to everybody here is examples across that design continuum. So we have beautiful products on show, which in a way talks to design as product, all the way to the kind of new systems and services that we've been supporting through programs like the Better Living Challenge, which your department has supported, and the Design Innovation Seed Fund, which your department also supported. What we are sort of launching in a way today is some first-of-a-kind research that we've done into the value of design in business. So we've interviewed a number of design-led businesses that are showing where design is actually making a significant impact on their bottom line, and we tell the story of those businesses in this space. And they include businesses like Yappy Chef, Boss, whose tea we are drinking, thank you Boss, and a couple of others. We support over 2,000 small businesses a year, come through our door and make use of our services. And I wanted, just in terms of Bev's support, in terms of the support that we give, and I think why we have grown. And in fact, our growth is really word of mouth growth. So mostly is about referrals. Is because I don't think people really think about it, but CCDI itself is a business. So we might survive off grant funding from government, but essentially we are selling a service. On the one hand, and on the other hand, we're providing a service to entrepreneurs. So on both sides, we have to make sure that the product or the service that we're delivering is actually meeting a need. So we in a way we have kind of first-hand experience of the challenges and stresses of running a business and keeping that business going, but spotting opportunities. And in a way, on that score, what we have also decided to do is, because we are the only institution of its kind in South Africa and have serviced the Western Cape so far only, we've decided that we need to be generous and extend our services and support across the country. So it was a decision we didn't take lightly, because it means a lot of extra work, but we're not afraid of work. But we think that we've proved a point in Cape Town and the Western Cape that design has value and a whole lot of levels, and that we can actually do it, and that we have a methodology and approach that really gets individuals and businesses to understand what their vision is, where it is that they want to go, how they find that agency from themselves, so that they're not always reliant on support, and just get out there and do it. And so that's what we're doing nationally. So watch the space and let's see what happens over the next 15 years.
Hi, so my name is Paul. I'm a director and engineer at Lumkani, and we're a Cape Town-based startup that's designed fire detectors, networked fire detectors, to try and help the shack fire challenge in South Africa and in the world. Because every year, hundreds of thousands of people are displaced from rampant fires that spread very quickly, destroy thousands of homes, and people are left with nothing. So at the beginning of 2014, this was a problem that we became aware of it. There was a massive fire around New Year's. Thousands of homes were destroyed in Khayelitsha, and myself and a few friends basically thought, how could we hope to address this problem? And what we came up with was this little box over here, and it sounds really pathetic actually, now that I hear it again. So this was our first design, and what I thought I'd do is just maybe show you how we've gone through design iterations and come to the current product. So we're electronics designers, so this is what a product that's designed by an engineer looks like. It's basically a white box with holes in it, and we basically took this product and we joined with an amazing organization called Cork, and they put us in contact with a community in Khayelitsha called UT Gardens, and we had a whole lot of design workshops, essentially, a whole lot of co-creation sessions where we asked questions, we talked about the challenge, we talked about the problem, and that kind of ethos has continued through our now 2.5, 3 years of work. And the first thing that they said was, "That looks ridiculous," which I agree with, and we took that very, very seriously. And then the other interesting piece of information was, what if this could act like ADT was the actual phrasing, as in, what if it could communicate with the fire department? What if it could communicate with neighboring houses? So we took this very basic rate of rise heat detector and we came up with this product over here, which looks a little bit better, not much. And what it also does is it has a transceiver inside of it, or a radio frequency transceiver. So if a fire is detected, it transmits that message to all the neighboring homes, and you create a community-wide response as opposed to just an alert in one home. So with this device, we installed about 1,000 of them in our first pilot in UT Gardens. And what we also did, because we wanted to measure how many fires we were detecting, is we designed a system that would listen to these alerts and send messages to our servers, which we could then send as SMSs to people that were registered in that community. And on the first day of installing the system, I got an SMS, and I was working in a different job, and I thought, oh, I've messed it up. There's a bug in the system, and I've got a message. And I quickly called and realized that we'd actually detected our first fire that day, and it was detected, it was stopped because of the system, and now on version 3, which we rolled out another approximately 6,000 to 7,000 of these, and in the last 6 months we've detected about 12 confirmed fires, which translates to an impact on thousands of lives. So yeah, that was a little bit about our process and how we've got to where we are now, and how we try to use iterative design and ideas of human-centered design to come up with a product that was actually relevant and applicable and served its purpose. So thank you very much.
But one of the things that one is aware of from the communities that I come from and in my job is that the social problems that we have. And one of them is obviously the problem with maternal deaths and perinatal deaths throughout our country. So the problem is noted, but how do you have a solution? And the solution, one initially thinks very simple. So you just get people to book, because if they don't book, and in this country, women only book after 20 weeks, halfway through their pregnancies throughout our country as an average, and long past the detectable, where you can detect conditions which we can do something about early on, like HIV, like abnormalities, and like hypertension. So I decided that, well, if women aren't coming, then you should really be able to go out to women. The problem with that was that was very doctor-centered approch, and luckily I'm quick to pivot. I've learned all these new words in this ecosystem. You pivot, you iterate. I had to ask what all that meant initially, but essentially what I did learn was that you have to put the person that you're considering the solution for in the center of the solution, and she will direct the way in which the answer will come. And so we don't have a final answer, but by constantly changing in a dynamic way and responding to the needs of the person that you're actually trying to get to, we have come up with Imobimama. And I have our first prototype. Thank you very much to the Design Innovation Seed Fund. Your money has been well spent, I hope, because that's our first prototype. And essentially it's an antenatal mobile unit which is collapsible. It houses medical devices. It is operated by lay vendors or community health workers or nurses at point of contact. So you take it to where the women are. But in addition, it means that those vendors can have economic opportunity, and a good way to think of it is really Tupperware meets health meets IT, which in this case is an enabler. IT is not the be-all and end-all in design, but it does make it possible to bridge some divides from the rural area to the urban area, from even the peri-urban to the central areas where things can be monitored. And it is an example of how design actually can culminate in a product that may have impact in terms of economic employment, and opportunity for women on the ground, as well as bringing in more people into the health service and connecting them with hopefully good impact. Thank you very much.
We were very, very privileged to be assisted by the CCDI. Over the last 3 years, they took the plunge and got funding from the department for job creation, and they were able to think out of the box, which is so wonderful that they realized that cosmetics is actually design, because when you're making a product to go on skin, you have to think about form and function, you have to think about packaging, you have to deliver the right thing for the right skin type, solve problems just like any other design thing. People designing buildings have to go through the same processes, it's just in a different, smaller package. So Rain is a body and bath product company, for those of you who don't know. We're based in Swellendam. Do you all know where Swellendam is? Okay, it's a beautiful touristy town, and we have a factory there that manufactures almost everything that's in the Rain stores. So we're very proud of that. We do all sorts of things, from making slippers and shoes, candles, paper mache, cement things, body products, whatever creates jobs, we're happy to try it and do it. We have 18 of our own retail stores in South Africa now, so we're quite proud of that. Yeah. Erica doesn't know, but this year we've opened 9 stores just this year. We've got 3 stores in the USA, so 2 in New York and 1 in California. And we are opening 2 in Ireland in February. And I have a gentleman I'm entertaining today and tomorrow from Turkey who wants to open Rain stores all across Turkey. He represents a huge company in Turkey who have a very impressive turnover, so I'm thinking he's the guy to go with. At least he can pay the bills. And so we're super excited that we can grow, because we're in a small town, and it's very important that in small towns we create jobs, because otherwise people flock to the cities and we sit with people living under bridges and things like that. So we're very passionate about job creation, and we're more impressed about how many jobs we create than how much our turnover or our profit was, which shocks some people, but we think that's a measure of success. And so for those of you who don't really know the Cape Craft and Design Institute, I know they're showcasing here tonight, so I just want to say that they're an amazing organization, extremely supportive of small business, very understanding of all the challenges that small business face, because they, you know, we have challenges. We have to wear many hats when you're an entrepreneur. And they have incredible leadership, incredible people on board to assist with small business. So thank you very much for listening.
You've heard from Erica and the team, and thank you very much to the whole CCDI team that are here. You guys have turned this office into from an office into a gallery come shop. So that's really nice to see. Thank you very much. And for the years and years of dedication, and what you've been doing is changing the DNA of the region. So the design becomes part of what we do and how we operate and how we behave. I think we've still got a lot of work to do, because we need more people to think about design before we think about other things. You know, I think too often as government we legislate before even thinking about redesigning the process. We need to think about that too. One of our problems that we have is alcohol abuse in our system, and if you remember a while back, we have lots of problems with alcohol abuse. We have you know, abuse of women and children, we have FAS, we have all sorts of issues. And guess what we did? We decided as government we would legislate, and you remember a while back pup sucks was seen as the problem. Pup sucks were causing the problem, causing a lot of alcohol abuse, so we put a piece of legislation in place and we said pup sucks are now illegal. So you can't buy a pup suck anymore, it's illegal. Have we solved the problem? No, we should have designed a much better solution, and hopefully we're going to be able to do that, because that's still not solved. And so design plays a really, really important role in everything that we do, and I think that led to World Design Capital. That again gave us a big lot of impetus as a region so that we think about design more often. And so maybe I should tell a little story. I've just been very lucky to do a little visit to America, where I spent some time in Silicon Valley and talking to a company who's been thinking of investing. I'm sure you've interacted with them, IDEO. And it was really cool just going there and having a look at one of their projects that they've been running in Kenya around teenage pregnancies. And, you know, you look at how a design solution, and you look at it and you think, it's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? And this case that they showed us was how they looked at design around teenage pregnancies. They partnered with the Mary Stopes organization. And what they did was they said, what's the problem? Why do we have teenage pregnancies? Why do young females not want to go and spend time in a clinic? And then they showed you a picture of the clinic. And it was this sterile place with these like uncomfortable looking beds, and nobody wants to go there. So all they did was they put a table in the middle of the village with some nail polish and some hair stuff, and they started calling young girls around the table to talk about things while their nails were being done, and they would have a couple of professionals that started talking about managing your sexual life and how you deal with that. And so by people just getting around the table and talking, they just designed the system a little bit differently, and they get a whole different outcome. And that's how design really does help us as government in a big way, and I don't think we do it nearly often enough. We should be finding platforms where we put a lot more of our problems on the table and say, come along and design a solution for us, because there are so many. But thank you very much for being here.